Hello everyone, my name is Alok Mishra and I welcome all of you on my YouTube channel once again. Today, in this short and quick video, we are going to discuss why it is important to have companions to various aspects of English literature. For example, I'll be discussing these three books. The first one is The Reader's Companion to World Literature. The second one is The Wordsworth Companion to Literature in English. And the third one is The Oxford Companion to Classical Literature. So these three are only examples. There are many other companions. The Oxford Companion to English Literature, the Cambridge Companion to English Literature, the Black Bell Companion to English Literature. You can find companions published by various publications on various aspects as well as generally companions to English literature. So now coming to the importance of these books. As you can see, the titles clearly mention companion to English literature or companion to some XYZ aspect of English literature. So a companion essentially helps you, tries to get you out of difficult situations or shares information with you that might be helpful, beneficial and useful to you. So now this one, the first one, The Reader's Companion to World Literature, what it might do to help you out. Now let's just randomly flip to any page. Now I have stumbled upon a page that has information about epic. So suppose I'm new to English literature, I have just enrolled myself in a BA honors program and I somehow encountered a word epic in the classroom or while reading any book or while surfing the internet. So if I am troubled by the word, I am just going here and there, I am going on this website and that website where all those bulky articles are there. And if I turn to this book, I can easily find epic, a long narrative poem in which the characters and the action are of heroic proportions. The greatest classical epics are by Homer and Virgil. Until the 18th century, the latter was better known and more admired in Western Europe. From the example of Homer and Virgil, certain characteristics became established in the West as standard attributes of the epic. The underlying theme concerns basic and eternal human problems. The narrative is a complex synthesis of experiences from a whole epoch of man's history or civilization. The hero embodies national, cultural, or religious ideals. The style is earnest and dignified. The poet plunges into a low point in the middle of the action. Not all of the following poems, called epics, conform to all these conventions, although they agree in each instance with most of them. And there are some examples: Mahabharata, Beowulf, Song of Roland, Divine Comedy, Lucy Dash, Fairy Queen, Paradise Lost. So I have just read out the basic, simple, and also a very helpful and easy to understand, convenient kind of definition of epic. And now, just moving forward, we have entries like Epictetus, Epicurus, Epigram, Epithalamium, Erasmus, Arenas, Aries, Eros, Essay, Ethics, Eumenides, Euphuism, Euripides, Everyman, Existentialism. So, as you can see, as you could have guessed, such books have entry about definitions of difficult terms, definition of general terms, introduction to works of literature, introduction to personalities of literature, introduction to movements of literature, and so on. So in short, this is a curtailed or this is a curated dictionary that will help you with aspects of literature that particular books deal with. And this is the Reader's Companion to World Literature. And the subtitle says, A Guide to the Immortal Masterpieces of Writing from the Dawn of Civilization to the Present. So you could easily have guessed it. Now we move to a little bulkier one, the Wordsworth Companion to Literature in English. Now this one, as you could have seen, is quite bulky and it has entries properly like dictionary, but these entries are different. These are not your ordinary words entered into dictionary. These are names of the authors, names of the works, names of literary movements, and many other things. As you could see, the book is a little worn out because I have studied it a lot during my graduation and further. So I will just read a few examples from this book. Now see, a familiar example is there. Bunyan John Bunyan, the author of The Pilgrim's Progress. Now the entry reads, Nonconformist, preacher and writer. Bunyan was born at Elstow near Bradford, the eldest of three children of Thomas Bunyan, a brazier or tinker, and his second wife, Margaret Bentley. He was sent to a local school where he learned to read and write before taking up his father's trade. His favorite reading matter as a youth was popular ballads and chapbook versions of chivalric romances. In 1644, Bunyan was enrolled into the parliamentary army to serve in the Civil War. He spent the next 2.5 years as a soldier in the garrison town of Newport Pagnell. Little is known of Bunyan's military career. His only reference to it is to record a providential escape from death when a fellow soldier who had taken his place at a siege was killed. It is likely, however, that he was influenced by radical sectarian preachers who were active in the army. In 1647, following his discharge from the army, Bunyan returned to Elstow to resume his trade as a tinker. During the next few years, he underwent a severe psychological crisis, the progress of which he later recorded in his spiritual autobiography, Grace Abounding, published in 1666. His first wife, whom he married in 1648, possessed a couple of popular religious books, Arthur Dant's The Plain Man's Pathway to Heaven and Lewis Bowley's The Practice of Piety. In reading this, Bunyan became convinced that he was a sinful creature destined for hell. He tried repeatedly to reform his life, giving up dancing and bell ringing, which were his favorite pastimes, and devoted himself to an intensive study of the Bible. So now you can see, I'll just leave it here. Now you can see the particular person who has edited this, Ian Osby. He has done a very wonderful job in giving you all the backgrounds behind the works of literature, all the backgrounds of certain personalities of literature. And now by going through this biography, you could easily imagine what could have compelled or inspired or sparked John Bunyan to produce a work like The Pilgrim's Progress. And many other entries are wonderful to read, informative to go through, and very helpful in developing your conscience about English literature. So now I will read a sample entry, an example entry from the Oxford Companion to Classical Literature, and then we will discuss some general advantages of having this kind of books with you. I'll just randomly turn it on, and then it brings me to entries like Hellenistic, a very popular term that we often encounter when we are reading poems by John Keats or when we are reading some ancient Greek works of literature. Hellenistic, term used to denote the history and civilization, language, art, and literature of the Greek world from the late 4th to the late 1st century BC. For the term Greek world, see Greece. For the term classical, referring to the 5th and 4th centuries BC, in Greece, see classic. See also Hellenistic age. Now you see, Hellenistic term has been defined and then some cross references are there that you can easily follow and read others if you are interested. Now I'll read just one more entry. Hellenistic age, just below Hellenistic. The period of Greek culture, which may be said to start from the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC and end with Rome's absorption of Greece and the Greek East in the latter part of the 1st century BC. Before Alexander, Greek culture had little influence outside Hellas. After his conquest of the Persian Empire, important centers of Greek civilization and economy were to be found in Egypt and Asia, and the dominant culture of the Middle East was Greek. The new city of Alexandria in Egypt was its focus, hence, the period is sometimes known as the Alexandrian Age. This one is helpful for those who want to study the ancient Roman or Greek literature. And in this book, you will find all those entries that appear predominantly in the works of John Keats, in the works of Homer, in the works of Virgil, or other ancient writers, or maybe modern writers, or maybe 16th or 17th century writers like John Milton and Jonathan Swift, and also Pilgrim's Progress author John Bunyan. So all those who allude more than often to ancient Greek or Roman culture and literature, you will find this book very helpful in decoding all those information, even decoding the works by T.S. Eliot at times. So, after discussing these books individually in brief, let's discuss how these companions may be important for students of English literature. So these things are helpful when you are reading some book, some novel, some literary theory. For example, suppose you suddenly encounter a work that may take you back to the Roman or ancient Greek world. So you don't have to go through the internet, you don't have to go through some notes or some websites. You can just pick up this book and you'll find the entry, you'll know the information. So now, suppose you are reading a literary theory and you encounter a sudden trend like deconstruction. So if you don't have information about it in the book that you are reading, if the book is clumsy enough to describe or to define deconstruction in brief for you, then you can take help of any book like this one and you can find the entry there, and these books will help you with simple, brief and convenient definitions that you can easily understand and then go back to reading the original book. Now, suppose a scenario if you are reading some text by John Milton and John Milton's text alludes to ancient culture, ancient literature, and ancient hierarchy of gods and demons. So you will find once again this book very helpful. So in general and in specific studies, both the ways, these books come to rescue you more than often. So having these books handy is always beneficial and helpful. So I would advise you, like, you should get at least one companion to English literature in general. The Oxford Companion or the Wordsworth Companion or maybe the Blackwell Companion, the one that you can find, the one that you can easily get in online or offline stores, you should get that ASAP, because a companion can be handy to randomly browse and randomly gain information or passively look for entries that you may have to inquire about and you don't want to just get up from your seat. So like you are having these 2 or 3 or 4 books on your table, you are studying 1 or 2, then having a companion just beside you can be helpful because you can stick longer with your study hours. So this is it for today, and we'll be back with more videos very soon, and I will try to give you a glimpse into some rare or some very funny titles of the books. They do exist. I'll get back with that video very soon, and more videos on serious topics will also be live on the channel as usual. So now we are uploading regularly, so spread the word about this channel, share the videos with your friends, and do tell me in the comment section, how do you find the videos? How do you like the content now? So all the best for now. Take care. Have a good time. Thank you.